Hey guys, so I'm here doing this makeup tutorial. I wanted to play around with my Mario palette, the one he came out with Anastasia, and I really love it. It's really different. I feel like it's not just kind of a basic palette. It is really unique, so I'm happy with the purchase. So if you want to see how I got this look, just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to start out by priming my eyes. I'm just using a Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. I've been trying to get my hands on the Enigma primer. I've just been lazy to order it online, and I've gone into the store here in my town a few times, but they haven't carried it. The girl was telling me that they only get like maybe a handful every time they get a shipment. With some face powder just to set it. So when I go in with my eyeshadows, it's like really smooth. I'm going to be using the Master palette by Mario. And this palette doesn't really have any kind of like boring transition colors. So I'm going to actually go in with the Modern Renaissance palette, Warm Taupe and Golden Ochre, just a little bit, because these are very pigmented, so just kind of like barely tap it in and then just work it into my crease. I'm not pushing down really hard. And then once mostly all the product's off, and then I just blend it all in. I'm going to be picking up Violetta, this really rich brown color. It's so pretty. I'm just focusing it on the outer V. See how pigmented it is? And then on the inner corner. Now just go on the edges and just blend it outwards and then meet it in the middle. And if you notice, I haven't picked up any more eyeshadow. I'm just using the same eyeshadow I picked up for the inner and outer corner and just pushing it around. Picking up a clean blending brush and just kind of going over the edges. Now I'm going to be picking up this flat little shader brush. I think it's a concealer brush, but it's like a flat shader brush. And going into Marina and putting it just on the very center of my eye. And I'm also going to spray some Fix Plus on this to make it a little more foiled and shimmery and shiny. So I picked up a little bit more of the Violetta shade, and now I'm going to be packing it on where I did before to kind of deepen it up and help it blend better with the shimmer I just put on my lid. And my eye is like slightly hooded, so anytime I do like a halo eye, it gets a little bit in my crease. That's why I like to blend the shimmer up a little bit higher than I would for someone that doesn't have my eye shape. I did my eyebrows and all of that jazz, so now I'm going to go in with primer. So I'm going to be using the Step 1 Skin Equalizer, the smoothing primer. Excuse my baby hairs. All these hairs right here that are short, it's when I lost my hair when I was pregnant with the 2 kids, with my 2 kids. Okay, so after primer, I go in with some Fix Plus. I'm going to be using Covergirl's 3-in-1 foundation. I feel like this foundation is very underrated. I don't see probably pretty much anyone talking about this, but I really love it. It's full coverage, but it's creamy and it's not drying, so I really love this. Once I put my foundation on, my under eyes look like way worse. Some Becca Undereye Brightening Corrector. And then this will already make like a huge difference on my under eyes. Now I'm going to be going with Tarte's Shape Tape. Heaven in a Tube. And I'm going to be blending it out with the G8 Morphe brush. So now I'm going to be using NYX contour sticks. I'm going to be using Deep for the perimeter of my face and like my cheekbones, and then I'm going to be using medium tan for my nose. I'm going to be blending it out with this Real Techniques Expert face brush. I got a little too up close and personal there for a second. Okay, so now I'm going to be using MAC's MSF in medium to set my whole face, except for where I put concealer. Using Kat Von D's translucent powder with this little tiny Real Techniques brush. I don't like to bake for too long because then it looks cakey on me since I have dry skin already. So that's why I like to use this kind of like little technique instead of like the beauty blender. And leave it on, cake it on. I like to make sure I hit the areas where I crease usually. Oh shit, I always leave that there. Oh damn it. And I usually crease like on my nostril area and how my little laugh lines right here, to make sure I powder those really well. And then I pretty much immediately like wipe it off. I don't leave it there too long. And now I'm going to go in with my bronzer. I'm going to be using Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer in Milk Chocolate and the darker one, the medium one. I'm going to be using this one. This one's Milk Chocolate. And then I have like the little travel size one of the darker, the medium deep. This one. And I'm going to be using that to kind of carve out my cheekbones. I'm going to be using this old little travel-sized MAC brush to kind of carve out my cheekbones a little bit more. I got this years ago, so I don't even focus it on the back. Just feather it. Just gives it a little bit more. Oh, something, something. So now I'm going to be going back with the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. Oh, I'm going to get blinded. The Chocolate Soleil bronzer and this little blending brush by Sigma, and just kind of really carving out my nose. I don't do anything crazy. I just kind of give it a little definition. Man, I don't know if you guys have watched Carly Bible's videos, but she goes ham on her nose. Like, she does such a good nose contour. I don't know how she does it. I've tried to do it, but my skills, they're not, or maybe my nose, I don't know. Now I'm going to be doing a little bit of blush. I'm just going to be using NYX Nutmeg blush, and then I'm going to do the lower lash line. And this is Nutmeg. It's just like a little brown. It's kind of like a bronzer brown. I'm going to be using that same little angled brush that I used for bronzer earlier. I'm just lightly going on my apples and then going back. My apples, my cheeks. Yeah. I haven't worn makeup in literally 3 days. We had a weekend this weekend. We had a wedding this weekend, and then me and my husband stayed up there for that, and then we came back to the girls. They were in terrible moods, so I haven't done my makeup all week. Why does this, no, not this, this eyelash look wonky? One minute. There we go. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be doing the lower lash line. I can't decide if I'm going to be using the blue shade or the Muse shade. I don't know if I want to do blue or green, or kind of like the reddish. I don't know. You know what? Let's do green. My shirt's green. It's Destiny. Let's do green. Okay, so I'm going to be taking the green shadow in the palette called Bronx and this little detailed brush, and I'm going to be using another mirror because I'm going to be focusing it on the lower lash line. So since this green is kind of, how can I say it? Like, it's a mossy green and it has shimmer, it's really easy to kind of wash it out. Like, if I use another shadow to like blend it out, it's really easy to kind of overpower it. So I'm not going to be using another color to like smoke it out. I'm going to be using the same green shade to keep it just green in there. I'm not going to use any liner either. And then I'm going to get my dirty ass blending brush and put a little green on the tip of it, a lot of green, and then going back and smoking it out. And with my gray contacts, the green will really make them stand out and make them look more blue. Gives it that little smoky effect. I'm going to take a pencil brush and just kind of focus right in between the lash line and then the bottom of the shadow. I like to bring it pretty far down. Everyone has their preference, so bring it as low or keep it as high as you would like. I like to keep it, I feel like that's pretty low for some people. I don't, when I do other people's makeup, I usually don't do it this low because, especially if they don't really wear, they're not used to wearing a lot of makeup. Okay, so now that I'm done with everything on my face, powders, creams, everything, I'm going to go ahead and spray my face one more time with Fix Plus. Or should I say drench my face, sorry. Sometimes I don't put mascara on my lower lash line depending on how the look, I don't know, I guess sometimes I prefer it, sometimes I don't, but I think I'm going to put just a little bit. And for the best results, open your mouth. Look at this. Do you guys see that meme? I'm going to be taking some champagne pop for my highlight. Wait, whoa. Y'all know what it looks like. So when I first go in with it, I don't spray it with Fix Plus. I kind of put it on first, and then if it just depends. Sometimes I just want like a really pretty little subtle highlight. Sometimes I want it. Like that. Just a little, maybe just a little. I barely touch my skin too when I spray it with the Fix Plus. Okay, so the last two things I'm going to do is set my brows and put on my liquid lipstick. Too Faced like matte, melted matte liquefied lipsticks. And I love this formula. Like, I think it's my new favorite. But this shade I've been wanting to get it. It's called Cool Girl, and it's just the perfect nude color. You'll see. To highlight the inner corner, I'm going to go in with Hollywood and Marina in the Mario palette. I don't always do lip liner. With these, I can get away with not doing any lip liner, so I'm not going to do any. Kind of just line. A lot of times too, try to move your head like instead of your hand, because sometimes your hand's a little. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna do for this look. I hope you guys would like it. Let me do my hair and then I'll come back and do my body.